Good morning. It's Pause with Elizabeth Elenor. I hope you've had a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I have no idea why I'm just looking. For some reason, I've got to work out what is going on, but my camera always goes unfocused when I go directly into Facebook, but not when I'm doing Zoom. So anyway, it is what it is, and it's Monday morning. I've had a really, really beautiful weekend. Went to Sydney and hung out with my beautiful partner all weekend, and we did all sorts of stuff yesterday, planting new plants and all sorts of stuff, some getting into the garden. So I hope that you enjoyed your weekend and that you had some time out. So I want to talk about how we judge ourselves against other people, and it's actually not just about that. I want to sort of go over a few different things, because what we do is we look at what other people are doing and make judgments about ourselves and the way we are behaving, or the way what results we're getting. And we have this voice inside, and it's often not just one voice, right? So I want to share something with you. So it's often more than just one voice. There's a few different voices carrying on in the background. Now, we are a whole storage unit of memories in our subconscious that is showing us how we are being. This is the way to be on the planet, to survive, right? Because we've had different things happen to us prior that we've been able to live through, right? And so we have a particular event that then our body and our subconscious goes, this is the way we survived this event. So any events that actually look similar to this, we need to have this factor in it. And often that factor is, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't belong, all of those things, right? And somehow we're unsafe, but we have to pull back, or we've got to, depending on your personality type, some people pull back and are submissive, and other people push forward and are aggressive, right? Powerless or powerful, right? And playing the game of duality. And so we see other people doing things and getting results, and we judge ourselves for it, that we're not in the same spot, or that we're not getting the same results. And so, woe is me, why can't I get, make that much money, get that fit, stay that healthy, wake up in the morning and go for a power walk at 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever it might be that you judge yourself for. And then you watch the little voice comes in and starts making excuses of why you can't do that, and then blaming you for all the ramifications. And it's silent. It doesn't even, you may be here going, I don't have little voices, because you hear it, you've heard it for so long that it's so ingrained that it's actually bypasses the little voice sometimes and goes directly into a feeling. And you feel down, lower, your vibration goes, you distract yourself with something else, whatever your mode of distraction is. Mine used to be cleaning. Sometimes I can go back there as well. Actually, way before that, mine was, all sorts of crazy illegal drugs and stuff when I was in my teens, because I was numbing myself, because my dad died when I was 15, and so 10 years of grieving, it was a pretty hardcore way of numbing myself or judging myself, and I would just distract all the emotions that needed to come out by, going into really, really bad, unhealthy habits, which a lot of kids are doing these days, right? That has not changed. We haven't got a healthy way of being because we still identify with that small side of ourselves, that small aspect of ourselves that's named, you know, mine's named Elizabeth, yours might be named whatever your name is, and we identify and we think that this is who we are. So people that are focused on their end result and go for it in their genius, and I'm going to break this up in a minute to explain what I'm talking about. They look confident, they look free, they look powerful, they look like they've got it all together, right? And so people on the outside think that they need to focus on what it looks like so that they continually, so that they can get the same results, right? So they think, okay, for me to be successful, I've got to have a miracle morning. I've got to wake up in the morning and, you know, 5 o'clock and go for my run or meditate or do my affirmations and have my, you know, green smoothie and blah, 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 right? All of the things that others are doing, and it looks like they're doing it, the results that they're getting is from what they're doing, and so you go into doing, right? Doing those things. Now, if you haven't sorted out your subconscious old patterns of behavior of why you are in those other patterns of, you know, a different structure where you're not supporting your health, or you're not making the financial abundance that you want, or not in the relationship that you desire, then you will see from the outside those people, and you will go, I need to do this, this, and this, and I'm broken somehow. And so then you're continually trying to fix yourself. Why can't I find the love of my life? Why can't I make more money? Why can't I get healthy and fit and you know, wake up in the morning and do that routine? So, you know, a lot of people will go and seek out help coming from a place of I'm broken and I need to be fixed. And they're not realizing this, that you're still broke, that you're still in this mindset that there's something wrong with you and that you need fixing. So you go and see what this other person's doing, and they're living this life that they love, and they're, you know, doing all the powerful things to create their miracle morning or whatever it might be. And so you start doing that, and you're powering on, you know, and I'm talking from experience here. I want to share a story in a minute. And you know, you push yourself to get up, and you get up and you go for your walk, and you know, and all the while, so you know, you might do it for a couple of days and you're feeling really good and you're feeling successful and you're getting there, right? You might even do it for a couple of weeks. You might even do it for a month or so, right? A couple of months. But what happens is, if you start succeeding and getting the results that you want, your subconscious pattern that's telling you that you're not good enough and not worthy feels jeopardized. It feels like, oh my gosh, we're in trouble here because my identity is I'm not good enough, and she's doing all this stuff to make herself good enough, and that means that I'm going to somehow not exist anymore. So your identity, some people call it your ego, whatever, that separate part, that part of us that recognizes ourselves as an individual, goes, wait a minute, I'm not good enough, and she's going to good enough. She's getting success. She's getting results. We're in jeopardy. We need to change this, right? And somehow, and this is how powerful we are, ladies, and gents that are watching this on the replay, we are so powerful that that part of us can even create whole scenarios outside of what we think is our control, whole scenarios outside of our control to stop us from being able to achieve that goal. And there's internal things as well, like waking up, not wanting to get out of bed. You know, I'm going to snooze this time. Oh, my alarm didn't go off. I forgot to set it. Or something crazy happens outside of yourself where you don't get the opportunity to make the money that you want, or meet the man, or whatever it might be, right? You don't get the opportunity. Now I want to give you an example. As if you've been watching this for a while, if you haven't been watching this for a while and this is your first time watching me, I'd love to say hi. I would love to have the pleasure of meeting you. I would love for you to say hi in the chat. First timer or something like that. That would be awesome. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, I feel very honored that you're watching. So, and I hope you get value out of this. But if you've been watching me for a little while, you'll know that one of the things that I do is I support people to clear those old patterns, right? To restructure and to move out of that limited belief of being separate and into this superconscious genius that we are, that is all of everything, right? We have the opportunity to connect into that super conscious aspect of ourselves and draw down all the codes of whatever we choose to create, and release the codes that are causing us to think that we are limited, small, individual, and separate, and that we are not good enough, not worthy, don't belong, insignificant, not perfect, not capable, and therefore not safe, right? And so all of those things is one of the things that I do, right? Like I support people. I've got a course called Conscious Creator Mastermind, and what we do is we clear that limitation. We put the codes in that create us to be super successful in whatever, living the life we love and all of those things. Now, when I went on a road trip, actually, it might be more than a year ago. No, it's about a year ago. Went on a road trip and I did some events. And there was this one woman that came to one of my events, and she came up to me. She said, "Oh, I've got my daughter coming to this event. This is going to be really good for her," right? So the woman's daughter had just recently come out of jail, and she was trying to get her life back in order. She'd fallen into the wrong group of friends and blah blah blah, and you know, she was really wanting to focus and get a shit happening, right? I'm just about to start the event, and the woman came up to me and she said, "Oh, the babysitter hasn't turned up, so something happened to the babysitter, so she's had to ring around. She's finally got someone else, and she's on her way." I'm like, awesome, okay. Now, this woman's identity is, I'm not worthy, right? And so in this process, here we are. This is how powerful we are. I go through the whole event, come out the other side, go up to the woman and said, "You know, your daughter didn't turn up." She said, "You wouldn't believe it." She said she was halfway here and her car broke down. She couldn't even get to the event to find out how powerful she was, to find out that she's actually super conscious, to find out that she's not broken, that she actually is just needing to refocus on her genius instead of on her limitation. That's how powerful we are. We are so powerful that we can cause things outside of what we think is our control to actually happen into our reality. And it's actually the subconscious patterns that are doing this. It's not like some sort of mythical, that's another thing that the more I've done this particular type of work, the more I recognize that it's the subconscious. When we can clear those patterns that have been in our family history for generations, in our human DNA from the beginning of time, potentially, because we have been separate as individuals. We recognize that as separate. We recognize ourselves as an individual, and we've forgotten how powerful we are. And that's what we're here to do, is we're actually here to move out of that limitation, to recognize we're here to become separate so that we can remember that we are whole and full and all that is, right? We can become everything that we choose to be. So going back, all the way back to the start, and making those judgments. When you see someone doing their life, and you're making judgments of yourself, that's a self-assessment that's been regulated within you from your childhood, right? That's the subconscious making all those assessments of yourself based on your outside. Now that's from way back in the day when we our reptilian brain had to suss out what our environment was doing, who was doing what. There might be a saber-toothed tiger that's going to come and kill us, so we need to assess where everything is, and it was a survival thing. And even though it's not a survival thing now, we've still got this this judgment within ourselves as we're self-assessing against everybody else, right? And when you're watching somebody, you don't know what's going on internally within them. You have no idea whether they're pushing themselves to the limit, whether they're in their genius, in their superconscious creator, or if they're in their limitations and they're just pushing themselves, and they are potentially like in an oscillating pattern, because right now they're doing it and other times they're not, or they're actually overwhelmed internally, and they're potentially causing dis-ease in their body because they're they're actually pushing against their system that is then causing them to have all of these limitations, and it can cause blockages in the energetic field, and it can cause dis-ease within the cells. So where I'm going with this, I want to share a story. So I've been doing this conscious creator thing for a while now. Before that I was doing law of attraction, and I've always been aware to some degree of my internal state, and always thought I was broken, right? I was the same, and I went through modalities. I've been an energetic healer for 25 years now, coming up to 25 years next year. Watch this space, we might do something really big for that. And so I've been watching the spiritual growth of things for a long time. I've been watching, the industry in itself evolve, the personal development industry and the spiritual development industry, and so I've done 7 years of past life regression, really intense. I'm talking every single weekend, and if it wasn't Christmas and all those, of course we weren't doing it, but I would go up during the week, and I'm in a woman's book that she created with all of my regressions in it, and stripping the layers of past lives and generational history and my own personal emotional patterns that I, was brought up with. So I've been doing this for a while. And then I get to this stuff that I'm doing now where I recognize that the law of attraction is actually not giving us all of the information. And I've learned the secrets of alchemy. I've learned that structure is extremely important. I've learned about the superconscious and the genius, living in our divine wisdom, our intuition, our genius zone. And my life has exploded, right? My life has become amazing. I'm living at the beach. I met a beautiful man at the beach. My business is increasing every single day with 6 figures. I'm just living in this beautiful place. And because I'm not perfect, because as soon as you're trying to be perfect, you're in your identity, right? So anyone that you see that's got the perfect life is still in their identity, and they're still trying to fix their old wounds. So because I'm not perfect, I fall over, as coming up to 8 months ago now, in the driveway on some wet cement that shouldn't be there because it's a council thing. But anyway, that's another story. And it's taken me 7 months to really get this shoulder supported, because I got bursitis and I tore a ligament thing, supraspinatus something. Anyway, whatever it is, I've torn this thing, and I couldn't lift my arm up, and it's been painful, and I stopped going to the gym. And health, even though I would be way more healthy than most people, health is one of those things that is my health and relationships, or having a beautiful man in my life were the biggest things. Money I could go for, success I could go for, business I could go for. It was in my genes. The location, I've always lived in beautiful places, but health and a partner were like my biggest sabotage beliefs were around those two things. So met a beautiful man, and that's another story for another pause, right? I can talk about that at another time. Let me know in the comments, actually, if you're interested in finding out how to create beautiful, intimate, passionate connections with partners, because it's not something that I talk about a lot, but I think that it's something that a lot of women would like information about, because I've supported about 3 women in our Facebook, in our Conscious Creator group, with their marriages. And I know that there's a lot of women on this Women of Light that would like to be in a beautiful relationship, right? So if that's you, please put in the comments relationships, and I'll make sure that I do a pause around it. So get into the health. I recognized, so I stopped doing everything. I've put some weight on. My body is not where I want it to be, and it was starting to ache, right? I've just turned 51, and it was starting to ache. I've got something wrong with my, well, not wrong, there's a fusion in my hip from 20 odd years ago in an accident that I had that's never bothered me, that's now causing this a little bit of grief. So all of this stuff going on in my body, and I don't recognize a subconscious pattern that starts, has been there for a while. I only recognized it on the weekend. This subconscious pattern that's telling me that I'm getting old, and what if it's arthritis, and oh my gosh, you can't do anything with your shoulder, so you can't go, and you don't really like going to the gym anyway, and oh my gosh, you're getting old, and blah 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 blah, right? And it was this silent instruction that I wasn't even aware of until the weekend. I was like, there's a little part of me that is feeling old, and so therefore my body responds And so when I've been going for a walk down the beach, I've been a bit achy and finding it hard to walk on the sand. And so, you know, you see these people that are out there early in the morning, and they're doing their jogging and they're doing all this stuff, and you can beat yourself up because, you know, whatever it is that you think is your missing link that you want to do, and you're not being able to actually succeed or get the results with, you're going to beat yourself up, and there'll be a part of you that will be saying all of this stuff, all these excuses. Or, you know, one of mine is that my family, the women, get bigger as they get older, right? And so I'm watching, and it was on the weekend that I went, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I missed this. So here I am. I've been doing this for nearly 25 years now, and you can really miss these little subtle parts of yourself that are there, that were keeping you safe at one stage, but are no longer relevant. They negate where you want to go, and they just are not suitable for who you are now. They're childhood stuff, right? So I did a recode on it, and it was really interesting. I walked down the beach, didn't have the aches. I was able to walk on the sand, and you know, felt strong. And my body was, you know, like my body was like, oh, you've just really worked out. I was able to stretch, and I felt comfortable stretching. And then this morning I've gone and done Pilates for the first time. Hopefully my internet's okay. It's saying my internet's playing up. So when you're watching other people and making assessments about yourself and judgments about yourself, be aware that that internal voice is no longer valid. It's just an old pattern from your childhood that kept you safe at one stage. So don't beat yourself up that you've got this silent voice that, you know, is not giving you the results that you want. Let it know that it's okay. Don't focus on it, and just start focusing. What is it that you choose to create instead? To live in your genius, to live in your divine wisdom and in your intuition, in your superconscious, as I say, in that part of you that's not just an individual here on the planet. To be in that, it means focusing on what it is that you choose to create. And you be it now, you experience it in your body now, and you focus that way, because that is going to support you. That's going to be the bridge to get from where you are to where you want to be. When we start focusing on our old patterns, our old stories, and we let that little inner voice, that inner critic that some people call it the inner critic, when you let that part really take over, you're focusing on your being separate, being an individual, and problem solving your life, that you are broken in some way. So really what you want to do is you want to forward focus, and what is it I choose to create in this moment now? I'm going to be it now in my experience. If you need some support with that, if you need to find out, you know, like you're over it, you've been oscillating, I call it oscillating. You go and you get close and then you come back. You get close and you come back. Or you get the results and then you can't sustain them. You know, you might have it for about a month or something, and then you fall backwards. If you're in that pattern, or you're feeling stuck in any of those, you know, health, relationships, finances, you know, career, you know, any of those things, any part of you that feels like you would like to be in a different place, then put yes please in the bottom here in the comments, and one of my team will get in contact with you and we'll have a chat so that I can explain to you how to really clear those things. We actually have a 5-day event coming up. I think it's on the 19th, if I'm correct. And because it's our 3rd anniversary at the moment, I've extended the 111, the $111 for the 5 days. Normally it only goes for 24 hours, and because it's our 3rd anniversary, I thought I'll open it up. So if you would like to be part of that 5 days where we go really deep into some of the information I'm explaining now, and we do what I call a recode, which is clearing those old patterns and installing the codes that gives you the success. That's it's called Alchemy of Success is the 5-day event. Just put in 111 into the comments and we will be able to send you the link for that as well. There you go. Hopefully you got some value from that. Please put replay, #replay if you're watching the replay. We love to know who's watching, and just to, you know, this is a co-creative experience. If you've got anything that you would like me to share, please put it in the comments, and I'll definitely use that as a theme of something that we can talk about. And that's me. Take care, enjoy your week, and I will catch you next time. See ya.